welcome to another video. Today's video, well, first off, here's a new species I found. So I'm not sure what's going on with this. I just noticed it the other day. Kind of weird one. And then I look at here's a pollinator. Looks to be some kind of wasp. Not exactly sure. So the main part of this video today is a strange tale of the grass situation in Central Oregon. So I came out here to start a farm, and within the first couple weeks-ish, I think, I was at a Par Lumber in Prineville. And I was in there quite a bit when I first started out here. I was asked by one of the employees in there. He says, "Oh, what are you going to do out here?" I said, "Well, I came out here to green the desert," right? At that point, I still thought this was some kind of desert out here. And his response was super bizarre. He said, "Oh, they're going to want to kill you." And I was just like, what kind of response is that? Like, what is the upside and who is benefiting from the desertification? Or from what, at that time I thought this was a high desert, right? Until it started raining. I came out here the end of one summer and then went through a winter, and then the next summer I figured I lived in a desert and I would be able to just leave stuff outside. Well, it almost rained every week. I pulled a bunch of very expensive furniture out of a shipping container and put it in an open trailer, figuring it'd be fine in a desert for a couple weeks while I, nope, rained, and ruined a bunch of stuff. And so that's what really got me thinking, like, it sure does rain a lot for this to be considered a desert. Like, this is never what not what I thought a desert would be. I wouldn't think it would be a place that just rains in the summer, So, now, fast forward, I've made entire playlists of videos on my success getting these grasslands to come back. I've discovered that this is not a high desert. A high desert is not even a thing. I discovered it's called a high desert for marketing reasons, to promote this region to other areas as the warm, sunny place to come and thaw out from wherever you are, right? So that's kind of how it got the moniker of high desert, was marketing, okay? So now, this all used to be grasslands. What you're looking at right now is probably still not even up to the level that it was before white man settlers came to this region, okay? Like a couple hundred years, not even, I think, right? So they came out here and they started putting cows out here, okay? So when you come out to a place, and if it's a desert, you don't put cows. That's just not what you do. It's a desert, you don't do anything, right? No, it wasn't a desert. It's not a desert, right? They put cows because it was grasslands. It was endless grasslands, okay? Well, by putting the cows out there and not intensively grazing them, stopping all wildfires, and massacring the huge herds of buffalo, pronghorn antelope, elk, and deer, and whatever predators were out here, right? Just massacring all the wildlife that used to maintain the grasslands, right? The fire and the animals was what maintained it. They stopped all that a couple hundred years ago and to the present, okay? Well, the people that, I would say, I don't know if they got rich, but there was a lot of people who made a lot of money for a really long time and still do, just parking cows on state and federal lands, paying some sort of grazing tax, and that's how they make their money, okay? Well, all those people for all these generations who've made all this money off destroying this entire ecosystem, we drained wetlands, complete destruction of the grasslands, okay? People profited from this. And I would venture to say that the people that have and did, their families still do. And let's take Les Schwab as an example. Les Schwab was a cattle rancher that took the money that he made from cattle ranching and started a tire business. Les Schwab Tires. It's all over the West Coast now. I've been a customer for years, okay? Well, Les Schwab was able to make all that money by just paying a little bit of money to park his cows out on federal and state lands, and his cows completely decimated those lands, okay? He took all that money, he invested it into a business, he grew that business, and now it's owned by an out-of-state investment firm, okay? So there was all this capital generated by the destruction of these grasslands, okay? And that capital has now been just passed along, and it doesn't belong to Oregon anymore. The revenues that all were created by the destruction of the grasslands, now the profits all go to some out-of-state firm, okay? So, and I'm the one that's identified all this, and you have to remember that when the guy at Par Lumber found out I was out here to quote-unquote green the desert, he told me they were going to want to kill me. Okay, so, and this has stuck with me this whole time, like, why? Well, I think I'm starting to actually get the big picture. The people who would want to kill me for exposing this are the people, are the generations of families who have been making their wealth by destroying lands, grasslands. They're turning it into a desert. And they just keep doing it. And they don't care. And they're willing to apparently kill people to keep it quiet. Like, it's a desert, shut up, is pretty much their whole angle, okay? And here's where it really gets, the problem is knowledge and intellect, and where it really gets like, wow, is if they were doing it correctly, being the cattle ranchers, the cows can actually be part of the solution to repair things and maintain things at a point. We'll get there, right? Like what you're looking at on my property right now, I feel as though I'm ready to start running chickens on my property. I don't think it's to the point yet where I could do cows. I might be able to run a pass of sheep or run a pass of goats, but not yet with cows. But eventually, yes, there will be the ability to intensively graze cows on my property. A cow or something like that. I mean, there's scale involved here and a total amount of room, okay? But back to the whole people wanting to kill people for keeping this a secret, that it's the grasslands, okay? And again, it's the people that have benefited, are continuing to benefit from the destruction of these grasslands. And this is no joke, because once the stuff's gone, that's it. And one of the biggest benefits to doing what I have outlined here is the relief it's going to give our firefighters. If firefighters don't have these hundreds of thousands of acres of juniper and sage and some other woody stuff infested, and we take them back to grasslands, that's all stuff the firefighters don't have to worry about anymore. Grasslands wildfires are not an issue, okay? Sage and juniper are a whole different ball of wax. Is a real fire that you gotta fight, okay? Well, if they aren't there, then you don't have to fight them. Much easier to get rid of them with heavy equipment during the off season than fight fires in them during the summer, okay? So, and the benefits is not only are you going to save this entire region and preserve humans' ability to live around here comfortably, you're going to do that. You're going to enable the wildlife. I see pronghorn antelope. I bet they would love a lot more stuff to eat. So by removing the juniper and the sage and enabling the grasses and the flowers and stuff to come back, that's going to enable larger herds of pronghorn antelope, which is awesome because then they can maintain whole entire areas without us doing anything, okay? Now those very cattle ranchers that have gotten rich by destroying Central Oregon can be a part of its restoration. So this doesn't need to be some, like, you need to try to kill people to keep this quiet, okay? That's completely unnecessary. Nobody has to get killed to fix this, okay? But it does need to get fixed, and it needs to get fixed soon, or else it's going to be a real desert, and that's not where people want to actually live. It's not going to be a nice place to live. There's going to be massive dust storms that roll into Bend and Redmond and Prineville that come from these areas that are hugely land mismanagement. Have a nice day. Peace.